It was a bright Saturday morning, but there was a weight in the air that only those who've truly loved and lost could feel. The silver Bentley rolled down the quiet suburban street, reflecting the sun like a moving mirror. Inside sat Adrian Keller, billionaire tech mogul, founder of Synexus Corp, and a man who had everything except peace. In the backseat beside him was his 10-year-old son, Lucas, his tiny hands resting quietly on his lap, his wheelchair secured gently in place. Lucas had been in that chair for the past 2 years, ever since the accident. The accident that took Emily, Adrian's wife, Lucas's mother, and shattered their perfect life like glass against concrete. Lucas hadn't spoken a full sentence in 8 months. His therapists tried everything. Adrian tried toys, gadgets, even surprise Disney trips. Nothing broke the silence. Nothing brought back the boy who used to chase butterflies in the garden or run down the hallway yelling, "Daddy's home." So today, Adrian tried something else. He told Lucas, "We're going on a date, buddy. You and me. But it's not just us, you'll meet some people too. Maybe someone special." Lucas looked out the window. Not a blink, not a nod, just silence. Adrian had arranged a blind date. But not the usual one. This wasn't just about finding love for himself. He had a crazy hope. What if someone could make Lucas smile again? What if someone didn't see the chair, the silence, the shadows, but saw him? He asked a private matchmaking firm to find 3 women, not models, not gold diggers, but women with depth. Kind hearts, real stories, the kind Emily would have smiled at. He rented out an elegant garden cafe on the city's edge, full of hanging roses, soft wind chimes, and the scent of lavender. It felt like spring had paused just for them. One by one, they arrived. The first girl, Olivia. Olivia walked in, confident, poised, makeup flawless. She was a lawyer, smart and articulate. She looked at Adrian, offered a firm handshake, and said, "So, the billionaire finally wants a real woman." Adrian smiled awkwardly. Lucas sat beside him, his hand still in his lap. Olivia glanced at Lucas once. "Oh," she said, "is he coming too?" Adrian nodded. "He's my world." She forced a smile, then launched into a monologue about her career, her goals, and her dreams to one day move to Dubai. Not once did she speak to Lucas. The second girl, Brenda. Brenda wore a bright yellow dress and a big smile. She laughed loudly, ordered an expensive wine without hesitation, and seemed full of life. "Your son is cute," she said. "Poor thing, though, must be tough." She leaned closer to Adrian. "Honestly, I'm glad you brought him. Shows you're a family man. But between us, you do plan on having more kids, right?" Adrian's chest tightened. Lucas looked down. Brenda kept going, showing him Instagram photos from her recent Bali trip. Lucas blinked twice. That was the only reaction she got. Then came the third. The third girl, Grace. She was late by 12 minutes. The event planner was about to call her when she finally walked through the cafe gate. She was simple. Soft green dress, flat shoes, hair pulled back in a casual ponytail. No makeup, no jewelry, just holding something strange in her hand. A flower, not a bouquet, just a single daisy. She didn't walk up to Adrian first. She walked straight to Lucas. Bent down, smiled. "This is for you," she said gently, offering him the flower. "I thought you'd like it." Lucas stared at the daisy. Then slowly, his fingers moved. He took it. Adrian's eyes widened, not because she brought the flower, but because Lucas reached for it. Grace then turned to Adrian and smiled. "Hi, I'm Grace. Sorry I'm late." The flower shop had a line. Adrian was stunned, but he stood and shook her hand. "It's okay. Thank you for this." Grace sat beside Lucas, not opposite. She began asking him simple things. "Do you like dogs? I have a big fluffy one named Max. He drools too much." No response, but Lucas's fingers were still gripping the flower. Grace smiled anyway and began talking, not about herself, but about things children love. Dinosaurs, cartoons, pizza toppings. Lucas blinked. Again. Then slowly, just barely, a corner of his mouth curled. A tiny, almost invisible smile. Adrian noticed. His heart felt like it cracked open. The date went on. Grace barely mentioned herself. Adrian had to ask. She was a children's librarian. Grew up with a deaf brother. Lost her mother young. She knew pain. But she never stopped loving people. When the meal ended, Lucas did something no one expected. He looked up at Grace, held up the daisy, and handed it back. She took it with tears in her eyes. Thank you, Lucas, she whispered. That night, Adrian sat by Lucas's bed. He gently asked, "Did you like her?" Lucas nodded. It was the first nod in months. Adrian whispered, "Me too." The story doesn't end there. Adrian and Grace met again. And again. Not for dates, but for playdates. With books, drawing, walks. Max, the fluffy dog, became Lucas's new best friend. And slowly, week by week, word by word, Lucas began to speak again. His first words came on a quiet Tuesday. Grace was reading him a book about stars. Lucas looked up and said, "Where's my star?" Adrian dropped his coffee mug. Grace froze. "Your star?" she asked softly. Lucas pointed at her. "You." Adrian cried for the first time since Emily's funeral. Months later, Adrian proposed to Grace, not in a grand ballroom, but in the same garden cafe, under the roses, beside Lucas. Lucas was holding the flower again. This time, he placed it in Grace's hand himself. "I want you to be my mom," he whispered. She cried. Adrian cried. Everyone cried. They married in a simple ceremony. Just close friends, the dog, and Lucas walking down the aisle, walking, because physical therapy, love, and patience had done miracles. And as they danced that night, Adrian whispered to Grace, "I was looking for someone who would see me. But instead, you saw him. And that's why you saved us both." Grace smiled. "You didn't need saving, Adrian. You just needed someone to bring the first flower." Moral of the story: sometimes, the greatest love stories begin not with fireworks, but with a single act of kindness. A daisy, a smile, a heart that chooses to see what others ignore. You don't have to be rich to make a difference. You just have to care. And in a world full of blind dates, be the one who brings the flower first.